What's the best acrylic marker brand out there? I have no idea. I've used a lot over the years, and recently Arrtx has sent me some to try myself. Now, I have not even unboxed these to take a look. These are the acrylic markers here, and then they also sent me some of their alcohol markers that they have. So I'm going to open these up, and I want to take a look and see just what we're in for. All right, so we got the box here. This is the 48 pack that they sent me. Open these up. Okay, first glance, very cool. I'll show you guys here. Sent some extra nibs, which is always nice. And there are the 48 colors that we have here. Open one of these up, see how they look. Okay, there's the nib there. Very cool. So these are the 3mm nibs, but let's take a look at the alcohol markers that they sent. Just grab a random one here. So you can see these are double-sided. Looks like a nice brush tip, as well as a chisel tip. So very cool. Eventually, I will try these out. But for today's video, I just want to focus on their acrylic marker set and see what we can come up with. All right, so the first thing we want to check is how these work. We want to test for coverage and just see how they apply to the paper. Got my nice overhead camera here so that you guys can see a better look at the markers and what they look like. Let's just pick a random color. We'll pick this one right here. This kind of aqua teal. All right, so we're gonna get this primed. All right. I mean, the coverage seems great. Let's see how it dries. And then I want to try doing a lighter marker over this marker. You know what else I want to test? All right, so I see the nib is like that. I just want to see. Okay, if I flip this around, now I'm gonna have paint all over my fingers now. I just want to see, can I use the fine point like this? Because this will be much easier. Let's see. I mean, I'm digging both, honestly. These are fun. So obviously we can get super thin lines. So that's a tip for you. Literally, you can switch these around. And I do like that because for more coverage, we can obviously flip this. But when I'm doing some of the fine line work, I like that the nib just comes out. You saw how easy it was. Obviously, you might want to wear some gloves or something or keep a paper towel on hand. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use my hairdryer real quick just to make sure, because I want to do a test. Of course, I put my hairdryer away. I want to do a test of light color over that darker tone. Use my left hand. That is completely dry now, which is great. So let's do like yellow. All right, this is your classic yellow. Get this thing primed up. Okay, there's the yellow. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm on it. That is, look at the coverage on that. That's crazy. Just right over it. No issues. All right, I'm digging that. Very cool. All right, so I'm gonna leave this aside to dry because I really want to see just what we can do with these markers. So in the meantime, I actually prepared a sketch yesterday. Let's see. Don't want to show you guys all my sketches. That's gonna be a separate video. But I like this one here. So I'm gonna use this sketch. And what I'm going to do is take a picture of this. I'm going to plug it into my iPad. And then I think we're going to do this on a woodcut. I bought these woodcuts. And I want to see how these paint markers work on this woodcut. I think that'll be a good test. All right, guys. So I traced out my image on my iPad. So I have that there. I printed it out here. I think that's going to be a good size because we are going to slap that right on this wood piece. It went off the page, but that's okay. I'm just going to draw that line in and add the little leaf here. But yeah, I think this is going to be sized up pretty well. And I have my transfer paper here. so that I could put this under here, transfer that image on there, and then get going. Whoopsies! Okay, let me explain what happened, but remember, there are no mistakes, just more content. So basically, I transferred the image that I had here onto this using the transfer paper. Now, whenever I use this in the past, it's usually on white gesso board, and whenever I press down on this portion, it transfers black smudge marks onto it. So I decided that I was going to wipe down this side with a paper towel. Not a good idea on the wood. I should have just left this alone, so obviously it transferred extremely light, and instead of retracing it, I could see enough of it, so I just hit it with some matte medium to trap the pencil lines in that are there. I definitely should have retraced it, but we're already in now, so I'm just going to keep heading forward. Instead of relining this, I'm just excited to break into the markers and see how they work, so let's get to it. All right, so we know the coverage is awesome with these markers, and I've been told that there is a variety of rich colors to choose from. And I've also been told that there's 50% more ink and paint in these markers than most of the general markers on the market. On the back of the package here, you can see they have an awesome color guide to show you all of the markers that are attached with numbers. So what I decided to do was, while I was just dabbing the marker to get it primed, I was writing out some of the numbers. Eventually I got kind of sick of doing that, but it's a great way to remember exactly what the color looks like. Just draw the number out in that color. I started adding a lot of texture to the bird to really test these markers, and while I was doing that, I noticed that there's actually a level kind of guide, a see-through portion on the marker to tell you just how much paint is still left in it. I've used so many different markers over the years, and I gotta say, I've never seen a marker that actually had a see-through window on it to show you just how much ink or paint is left in it. It's so convenient. As far as the dry time on these go, they dry fairly quickly, especially on the wood, but every now and then I use my blow dryer just to make sure. The last thing I want to do is smudge my artwork, so if you have a blow dryer near you or handy, I would definitely recommend it, but like I said, these things dry fairly quick. Recently, I've gotten back into acrylic painting, and one of my goals with this piece was to see how rendered and detailed I could get with paint markers, because paint markers aren't typically something that it can perform highly detailed things with. So I added a Q-tip technique where I was just kind of blending with a Q-tip, and because of the way the paint is when you layer it, you're actually able to blend pretty smooth with these. I was extremely happy with the results, especially after adding so many layers. You could just get exactly where you want with these paint markers. Another benefit I want to point out to these markers is how even and smoothly the paint comes out of them. I've used paint markers in the past that I've tapped the surface and there's just been an excess of paint that came out and it just ruined the section I was working on. I did not have any troubles whatsoever during this painting. So I gotta say, these markers just give you an awesome amount of control. And now, as I give a thank you to my paid Patreon members who have already seen this project, as well as a behind the scenes look at all my current projects, I want to take a second to talk a little bit about the design of this. A lot of times I get asked where inspiration comes from, and you can find inspiration all around you. I happen to like a certain type of shoe, and I decided to add some of the shoes into my work lately, and we'll just call these the woke shoes, or the wokies as I like to call them. And since this was done on a woodcut, I wanted to add something from nature. I love birds, as most of you probably know by now. I have worked at and co-owned Cardinal Tattoo with my buddy Mike for over 10 years now, so I thought it'd be fun to add my version of a cardinal, or just some type of bird. I know it kind of looks like a woodpecker as well. I just wanted to do my bird living in this shoe. From there, I wanted to add a couple other elements from nature, so I came up with the idea of adding the worm coming out of the split between the shoe and the sole of the shoe, as well as a couple leaves. And since I have been so inspired by the shoes that I've been drawing lately, I decided it was time to get some new shirts made. So I went ahead and got these shirts made. And I'm always feeling super nostalgic about my childhood, so I also got these shirts made. Both of these shirts are available on my website, woke1.com, where I have plenty of other merch available, such as original artwork, I have sticker packs, I have prints, I've got other shirts, so take a look and maybe pick yourself out something today. And now let's get you back to that painting. This is always one of my favorite stages of the painting, where I'm so close to done. I'm just adding final details to really bring it together. I was so happy with the outcome of this piece, especially for acrylic paint markers. I was really impressed. So when I asked earlier, what's the best acrylic paint marker out there? I really don't know, but this is probably the best piece I've ever done with acrylic paint markers, so I really got to give them credit. And of course, if you guys want to check these out for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. The only thing left to do is to coat this thing with some clear polyurethane to protect it, and then of course attach a sawtooth hanger on the back so that I can hang it. And once that's all in place and attached, of course, I gotta show you guys the final product. So here it is. And thank you guys so much for watching.